Hello, good afternoon. Hi, my name is Pastor K, and we are here for the FMC um, IT class. Okay, I have here with my brother Godson. Hi, brother Godson.
Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How you doing?
Fine.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
That's great. Okay. So we're going to be doing the another session of the IT training. Okay, and we'll be looking at Excel. Last 2 weeks we looked at Word. We'll be looking at Excel this time around. Okay, can we have the right? Okay, so we have Microsoft Excel, which is part one, because Excel is quite a large, vast application, and so we want to sort of take it in multiple steps. Okay, so with this one, we'll be looking at Excel in itself, and we'll also be looking at some demos. Right. Okay. So next slide, please. So this is Excel in the intermediate class, and like we said last time, when we had the introduction of Office 365, it's one of the applications that comes with the suite, yeah, the Office 365 suite, and it's used for as we wrote here, powerful programs for data analysis, documentation, charts, and graphs. Okay, so it's used to do a lot of manipulation, display, presentation, just working with numbers and figures to produce graphs, charts, and basically data manipulation rather. Okay. Next slide, please. Right. Okay. So we want to look at how we can launch Microsoft Excel. Okay. So if I'm sharing my screen, I believe. If I go to the demo, so what we do have here is you could launch by clicking on the start button, okay? And if you click on Excel, you can see Excel there, okay? And you click on Excel, and that will launch Excel, as you can see there, okay? So that's one way to do it. Another way that we said you can do it is you could actually come to your search bar here and start typing. And the moment you start typing it, it will come up, as you can see there. I'll just type EXC, and it will bring up all programs in my on my laptop here, in this case, that have the letters EXC. And as you can see, Excel is one of them. So what you do, you just click on that, and that will get launched for you. Okay. Another way you can do it is to click on the search, use Cortana. See if it does that for us here. No, I haven't signed in. Okay. Okay. Well, you can use that. Normally, I've take me a little while to get that set up. But basically, you could use Cortana if you're signed in, and you can just speak and say Excel, and Excel will come up for you. Okay. So these are the ways that we can launch the Excel application, right? So if I go back to the spreadsheet again, sorry, the PowerPoint slide. Right, next slide, please. Yes, the next one, please, one more. Right, okay, so in this slide, what I would like us to see is, as you can see, we've actually opened, so the first section here, where my cursor is, you can see we've got the Excel spreadsheet opened. Okay, so that's what it looks like. We'll show that in a moment. And what you can notice very clearly is that it will give you a page just like this, and you will see a lot of rows, so you'll see, a lot of rows going down this way, okay? And the columns obviously are going down the other way. Okay, I think we've got it right. Right, so it should be columns. So the columns are these ones here, highlighted, and your rows are the ones going across, okay? Right, okay. Then let me demonstrate that. So if we go back into Excel, if I click on start there, click on Excel, and that will launch. If I click on the blank workbook, okay, right. So this is that page that you will see before. Now along this line here, so along here, you'll see these A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, and so on. And that is, those are your columns, okay? So each one is a column. So each column is a section of an infinite number of rows. So if I go right to the, I mean, that goes right to, it can go right to, yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any limit in terms of the number. It goes all the way to the bottom, okay? And also going across as well. So these are your columns, and these numbers here represent your rows. So the letters represent your columns, and the numbers represent the rows. So the main reason behind that is so that you could specifically pinpoint a particular coordinate. So for instance, I can say I'm looking at what is inside this particular cell. Now, what these highlighted areas are called are cells. Okay, so each cell contains a data property. So basically, you can put a number in there. For instance, you can actually put letters. And you can also format them. So we'll talk about that a bit later. But the key thing is that each cell is a representation of some data. Yes, it could be numbers, letters. Could also be currency or what dates, for instance. Yeah, you can put that in there. Now, if you notice, because I've got this cell highlighted, if you notice, I've got E here and 5 also highlighted. Can you see that? So E is highlighted slightly different shade, and here 5 you've got a different shade. Okay, so that's how you can know if I'm looking for E5, I can take me straight to this point. Okay, so that's basically what's happening. If you notice, it's moved. The shade has moved again. So there, the shade is H there and 1. Okay, so over here it is H and 8. Okay, so that's basically your columns and your rows. So for you to be able to go to a specific point, it will be a combination of a column and a row. Okay, so that is H8. Yeah, columns first, G11, B17, A7. Okay, so that's what that represents. Okay, so there's always your columns first before your rows. Okay, right. Okay. Excuse me. Right. Okay. So that is demonstrating the columns and the rows. And another thing that's interesting is that we also have the concept of worksheets. Okay. So a worksheet is a specific page. Okay, so if I go back to my demo, so this whole page here is represented by sheet 1, which is a worksheet. So a worksheet, comprises of, a worksheet makes up an Excel workbook. Okay, so there's a workbook and there's a worksheet. So this is a worksheet. Okay, now you can have multiple worksheets, and all those worksheets actually make up what you call a workbook. Okay, so for instance, I've got one worksheet here. I can have another one by clicking this. See, I've got sheet 2. So if I was to maybe come here and type hello in column A2, or cell A2 here. Now if I go to sheet 2, notice sheet A2, on sheet 2, A2 is blank. But if I go to sheet 1, A2 has an entry. Okay, so what does that tell you? It tells you that what you have here doesn't actually transpose into the second sheet. Okay, so that's just a concept of worksheets, and then all of these 2 worksheets now make up what you call a workbook. So a workbook is basically a collection of worksheets, right? Okay. All right. So if we go back to the spreadsheet again, so you can see from our PowerPoint slide, we've got a worksheet, which is just a single one, and these are worksheets, okay, multiple ones. Now, the great thing about this as well is that you can manipulate that as well, okay? So by clicking on the right mouse button, yeah, you are able to either insert, you can insert worksheets or workbooks, you can delete a worksheet if you want to. You can actually rename it, which is the way to do it really, because when you have many worksheets, it's better to name them so you know what they all represent. So you can give it names for specific things. You can actually move or copy it. So you can actually move it. You can move a worksheet to another area, or yeah, maybe another location on the in terms of order, or you can actually move it into another workbook. Remember, a workbook is a collection of worksheets. Yeah. You can view code, you can protect the sheet. Well, these are more advanced. You can also do tab colors as well. So you can actually change the colors of the tabs. Sometimes you can use that to notify what it is you're working with. So let's do some of the demos. I will demonstrate maybe about 3 or 4 of these. Okay, so going back to the demonstration, if you see, we've got 2 worksheets now. So I can go to sheet 1. I mean, sheet 1 doesn't tell me anything. I can just maybe rename this. So if to rename it, click on right click with your mouse, and it brings up the context menu, and you click on rename. When you click on rename, if you notice it's highlighted, I can now delete what's there, and I can type what I want to. So for instance, I can call this one greeting, for instance. Yeah. So that's greeting. So that worksheet now is now called greeting. This is the greeting worksheet. So I can call it hello, goodbye, good afternoon, sunny day. That's good afternoon, after and the like. Okay, so you can see that. Now, if you notice, this one spills across to this side, but what you can also expand the cells. Yeah. So if I double click on this, it will take me to the end. So if you notice now, my good afternoon fits into cell A. Okay, so if you see something like that where it spills over, if you notice, it seems as if it's broken across the line, it just means that it's expanded beyond that. You can always expand cells. Okay, right, and you can do that either both for rows as well as columns. So you can expand going this way for columns and expand this way. You can just do that. You see, I can expand that as well for rows. Okay, right. So we can actually rename, as you can see. I can do an insert. So if I do an insert, so if you notice here, I can insert a worksheet, another one. You can insert a chart. We'll talk about that in our future lessons. Okay. You can install something called macro. That's more to do with programming and getting Excel to do automation for you. And there's some other ones as well. Okay. But I'll just demonstrate this first one, worksheet. Okay. So I can click on insert, and I click on OK. And if you notice, look, it's created another one for me. Okay, so this is exactly the same as just clicking this plus button here. The same thing. So you can do it that way, which is a bit more long-winded, or you can just click on the plus sign, and it will now give you another worksheet just like that. Okay, so what we can do, another thing again, which is good, if you notice, greeting has moved across, and sheet 2 is there. Yeah, I got sheet 3 and sheet 4. Maybe I want greeting to be the first as opposed to not the third. You can actually click on greeting. Can you see there's a little arrow there? You can now move, like you drag it across to the way you want it to be location wise. And once you get to the point, release it, and it will release, and you now have greeting in front. Okay, you can do the same for that one. Maybe you wanted to have it in order. You can do that. You see, I got greeting 2. Now notice when I was doing that, there's when it gives you that no entry sign, it means you cannot drag it there. Nothing's going to happen. Okay, but when you want to move it across, you can move it to the beginning or to the end, as the case may be. It's That's how it works. Okay, so you can actually move your sheets around. Now, let me just rename these ones to some nice, wonderful names. I don't know. Call this one. Rename that one to host. A very random names, as you can see. And rename this one to jobs, for instance. Okay, right. So I've got these four. If you notice, I've got four worksheets with four different tabs. Now I can decide to say, right, this is good, but I want to be able to identify what I'm working with what I have. What I can do is I could right click on this for argument's sake and click on tab color. Now, when you select tab color, you can change it to what you want it to do. So I can click on, for instance, I want it to be red. I can click on red. If you notice, it's actually made it to red. Now, if you notice there, it doesn't actually show us anything. But when I move away, you can see the colors actually change red. Can you see that? So the tab color is now red. Okay. If you select it, it doesn't quite show the red for you, but it doesn't show it. But if you actually move away, it shows a different color. Now I can do the same for here. So greeting, right click, tab color. I can make it blue, light blue. Okay, if you notice, it doesn't look like anything is selected. But if I move away from greeting, you see, it's changed color. So all of a sudden, I have two tabs. One is blue, one is red. Okay, so you can do the same. You can color them. It can help you to. So you can just, if you have like a long list of tabs, because you can have many. Yeah, sometimes when you have so many, it starts scrolling across beyond this area. Then maybe just by color coordinating your tabs, you can now know what they're doing. So it's just a way to organize and to get you to put things in order. Okay, so those are some of the things you can do with tabs. Okay, and again, as I said, the sheets are just there to help you to manipulate and put in different data. And in the advanced lessons, you'll be able to do things where you'll be able to work between sheets as well. So in essence, what I mean by that is the data you put in one sheet, you can manipulate it and call it, and from another sheet and do some calculations. And that's the beauty of Excel. Right. Okay. Going back to the next slide, please. Right, okay, so this one here, so we want to look at cell formatting. Like if you remember what I said before, the actual entry, so for instance, here where you see maybe A4, which is A4 denotes this particular cell, which has 2021, yeah, that is a particular cell. Now you can format the cell. What does it mean to format? To format means to change the look, the properties of a particular cell. So for instance, one cell can be modified to display differently, or customized to display what you want. So for instance, I can get this particular cell to show, if you see here, it shows me a particular date format, yeah, which is 12th of the 12th, 2021. But if you notice, it's more like an American kind of format. You can also have this cell. So cell A3 is doing the same date, but it's actually formatted in a different way. And if you notice that A2 has the same as well, it's formatted in a different way. So you can actually have different cells with different formats. Yeah. So, I mean, things like currency, you can have a cell. So every time you enter a number, it will automatically put it in pounds or dollars, as the case may be. Or any currency for that matter. You can do it for time, you can do dates, and it's just a way for you to be able to put data in and you know exactly what is represented, okay? So just like the note says here, the format cells dialog box is used to apply different formatting to the cells that you're working with, yeah? This is used to collate specific data types. So data type is what what type of data that's being stored, okay? Because yes, they can all be numbers, but that numbers can be a text. We'll show you that in a moment because that's a very good one. For example, we can put a header called dates, as you see, and you can have different formats of range of cells or entire column, to format all inputted data as dates. So for instance, what that means is you can have your formatting to apply to one cell, you can have it to apply to a range of cells, or you can have it apply to the entire column, okay? So let's demonstrate that. So going back to my Excel demo, as you can see here, that's my Excel demo here, and that's my entire column. So basically, I can apply a format to the whole column, I can apply it to just to one cell, or I can apply it to a range of cells. Yeah, okay, so that's entirely up to you, you can do that. Right, okay, so let's apply it to one. Okay, so if I call this dates, or let me just use money, let me use currency, something different. So we can make that bold, currency, okay, and I want to apply, like now if I just type, I don't know, 75, yeah? See, 75 just gives me a number. Now 75 what? Tomatoes, onions, I don't know what that means, okay? But if you can format it with the currency formatting, okay? So essentially every time you enter something, it changes it. So just to show you that, so I leave this as 75. Now for this one, I would, okay, I'll tell you what I'll do. If I say currency and I put in bracket, no formatting, no format, and double click that, and I do this one, currency. I can copy, so you can highlight this, you can do a copy, and you can paste. We'll talk about that in another lesson anyway, but just to give you a sneak preview. So with format, okay, right, so now we've got two, okay, so if I put there just random numbers, okay, notice I'll just put in numbers here, and it's just putting them as numbers, which is fine, but I don't know what currency we're talking about. Now, if I just format these four, remember I said that you can apply formatting to a range of cells. If I apply it to these four, how do you do that? Once you select it, then you right click. Yeah. Now, once you right click, if you look at this at the bottom here, you've got format cells in the context menu. So this menu, when you right click, is called the context menu. Click on format cells with your left hand, and it now brings up the format cells dialog box. Now, because I want to do currency, I select currency and I'm saying, right, okay, I want the symbol to be pounds, okay, and I also want, if there's any negative numbers, to put it in negative and also red as well, okay. So that just tells you how many decimal places you want, normally two, and the symbol currency will be pounds, and I'm happy with that. I press OK. So now notice what happens when I type the same number. I'll do 75. Yeah, that's what I did. But look what happens. You see, it puts 75 pounds there. See, so this has no formatting. This has formatting. I'll do the same again. 39. Just 39, like I typed here. When I move out, see, it makes it 39 pounds. If I do the same here again, 7594, the same as I had here, but when I move out, it puts it in pounds. And you notice it puts a separator as well there for you. And 202, the same thing again. Look what's going to happen. I typed it. Did I do it for the whole lot? Yeah, so it selected it for my so this range here, this entire cells has the currency enabled. Okay. Now I could change it to dollars if I can find it. US dollars. There's one of them here. There we go. US dollars. Okay. So now I've got it in dollars. So if you notice, it changes everything to dollars. Okay. Right. So now I can change it completely to another. Maybe I want to change it to, let's see what else I can work with. Format cells. Maybe I want to do one with dates. Okay. So if I come here and do dates, I can make this bold and date. So this has no formatting. If I just do one, if I do 1, 2, yeah, it will just give you the standard format, which is just 1st of Feb. It will, because Excel knows that, oh, you're probably, or it suggests that you're doing a date. Okay. So the 1st of February, 1, 2. Okay. But that's all it will do for me. Yeah. So 3, 4, it will put 3rd of April for me. Yeah. Okay. Right. But the problem with that is, I don't know what year it has. Okay. So what you can do is that you can format that particular column, for instance, and to go to date. But notice now I can now have either have it as this, or I can have it as that, where it's actually put the month in words, or I can have it as that. So you can actually have different ways of representing dates, yeah, within that particular cell. You can, yeah, that's fine. So if I just select that, for instance, and press that, if you notice, it now puts 1st of February 2021. So that column now, so that means every time you put a date in here, it will format it with this particular format. Okay, so if I do 12, 12, it will make it 12th of December. Yeah, if I do 11, 6, it will be 11th of June 2021. So it does that. Now, if you want to have 2022, then you have to do 11, 6, then another slash 22. Okay, then you have to do it that way. Then it will now put it as 2022, but it will always automatically assume that you're doing 2021. Okay, so these are just simple things you can do with formatting. There are obviously some more. As is always the case, as you can see, there are different things you can do. Text. In fact, let me show you this one, text. So text is very important. It's an interesting one as well. So basically what that is that when you want to enter, if you want to enter numbers in one of these cells as a particular text, then you put it in the text format. Okay, so for instance, something very interesting, like if I want to enter a number, maybe a telephone number, for instance, so 07885 2 4 5 6 7 8 9. Yeah, that's telephone number. But notice what happens. Let me just copy that. Copy. All right, notice what happens when you do that. You see, it takes away the leading 0. So if you want to make a spreadsheet with people's numbers, you will have this problem if you do this. Now, why is that the case? Because it thinks that's a number. Since it's a number, numbers don't start with 0 in terms of, so this is, we count from 1, isn't it? So essentially, it will remove that particular 0. So what you need to do in that case is to make this a text field. So if I show you the same thing again here, see if we make this text field, okay? So format here and make this text field, okay? So this means everything we put in there is like you're typing as a text. If I enter that number, if you notice, if I move away, it still keeps the 0. And it's also put a little red thing on the top there. Can you see that? Probably small. And if you click on that, it tells you, it says number is stored as text. Okay. So just to highlight it, just in case maybe you're not sure whether it's meant to be that, so just Excel telling you I'm not sure if that was your desired output, but just note that you have stored this number as a text as opposed to as a number. Now, if I come to this one, if I look at the format that this one is on, you will see that it's on the general format, which just basically means you put it in as a number. Okay, so this is very good, especially if you want to do like phone numbers with the leading zero. It's good to put it as a text, so that way whenever you store it, it doesn't lose the actual formatting. Okay, so anything that starts with zero, for instance 001, see, it takes it away. But if I now format that with the same text there, so now it's a text about the 001, it stores it as a text. Do you see that? Another thing it does is that it justifies it. So that's what it pushes it to the left. Okay, so it puts it, so as opposed to it coming to your right, it now goes to the left because it thinks of it as a text. Because when we write from left to right. Okay, so that's the reason behind that. Right. Okay. Let's go back to our spreadsheet. Can I have the next? Sorry, the slide. The next one. Right. Okay. Right. The other thing that we are looking at, that's another type of formatting, something that we'll look at. Now, there's so many different things you can do in formatting. I just showed you one tab, but we can also do things where we can create tables, make them look nice and pretty. So when you're doing your spreadsheets, you can actually design them in such a way that it's very interesting and very from presentation wise, it makes it easier to read, So that's what you can do. One of the things you can do with Excel. So here we're going to be looking at one of them, which is called the border. Okay, so the border basically just used for creating borders and tables and just making them look nice and pretty. Okay, so let's have a look at that. Right now, if I go back to Excel. Now, I can use this, so if I just get rid of these ones, just to get rid of this highlight and press delete, and it's gone. So I'll use these ones I've created here. Now, I've got 3 columns, A, B, C, and currency, format, and date. Right. Now, if you notice that this one is on the left, this one is right justified. I can actually make it right justified as well to line up with that. And what I do is highlight this and click on that, and it pushes the dates there. So if you notice that everything's now towards my right, okay? So, which is fine, not a problem. Okay, so to do tables, so I can actually highlight this here. And so you highlight the first step is if you already have a table, if you already have some data and you want to put them in a table, to make it look nice and pretty, you could select the area that you want to work on. You could right click on that and select format cells again. Okay, so it's right click format cells. Now, if you notice, we were looking at the number formatting. Now we're going to go to another tab, which is called the border formatting. Okay, so excuse me. So you can see it has some nice, interesting information here. So you've got styles. So that will show you what kind of lines you can create. Okay, so you can actually have dotted lines or some with long dots, long slashes, smaller slashes. Some with a small, large, just different formatting, okay? So I can show you all of that. They also have borders. So what this shows you is this is a representative of your area that you're working with, okay? So think of this area as this area here. Now, at the moment, if you see, it's blank here, it's blank here. Now, I can say, right, I want to now put a very bold line like this one, yeah? If I highlight it by selecting, and I want to put it right in the middle. So that means here and here, everything that represents middle in this, yeah, will be highlighted. So if I click on this, okay, and press OK, notice what will happen. Did you see that? So I now have 2 bold lines in the middle because that's what I selected. So if I go back here again, right click, and select format cells and select the border. Now, if you notice, it tells me what I have selected. You see that you have a bold line in the middle. Now, if you want to have that bold line also on the outside, you click on this one here, is that outside, this one here is that, if you want it to have it, that is the bottom, that is the top. But if you notice, what will happen is it will just do this box, but it will not put, if I take this out, yeah, so I just want it now to be like a box, but nothing in the middle, just the outsides being thick. Can you see that? So now I have a cell or an area which is now basically put in its own little box, and it shows it with bold lines. It can go further. You could, if I highlight this, oops. Format again. You can say, right, okay, I don't want it to be like that. Let's make something pretty. Now you can click on none. If you click on none, it wipes everything away. Okay, if you press that, you find that all those formatting is gone. See, we're back to square one. Now I can say, right, I want to make this look a bit pretty. Now, one thing you can do is you can remove these grid lines. So these grid lines are there by default, okay? But you can remove them so it doesn't interfere with what you're trying to do when you're doing working with tables and formatting, okay? So you can go to do that, you just click on view, and can you see here, it's got a checkbox called grid lines, take that off, and everything's now blank. Can you see it's all white? Okay, so now I can do this and format cells. I want to show you mixed ones. So if I click on maybe use that as standard, the outline, okay, that's my outline, that's fine. And I want to use that as well, okay. So the same thing for the outline, the whole outline, as well as for the center. Now we talk about center. If I had like 6 columns, the center will just be everything apart from the extreme left and the extreme right. Okay, so always center is always that. Now that's fine. I like this, but I want to now modify what goes across. So I can say I don't necessarily want to have a straight line across. I want to have one of these dashes, maybe this one here. And I want it to go across. You see? Do you see that? So that means all my rows will have these dashes on it. But it could be that I don't want it to be too dark. I don't want it to be black like that. I want to have it maybe as a different color, maybe a shade of gray. Yeah, I can do that as well. So the line will actually be colored with this color, this gray. You can, once I select the color, I can click on that to remove it and click on it again. And you can see it's now giving it that shade of gray. If I press OK now look what happens. Can you see? It's done the same thing again, going down, but notice that my rows are separated from rows with all these lines with dashes. Now that might not look so pretty. You can say, right, okay, let's do this again. Right click, format cells, and I can say, right, I want to use the smaller dashes here, or the dots. Click on that. If you want anything you select here, if you want to change it, click on the corresponding area. Then once you see that, click on that, and you see it's now changed it. It's taking it off, added it again. Okay, so that's it. But that's using the automatic, so that will give me black. But I wanted to have it as light gray, maybe light gray like that. So what I need to do is click on that again and click on. As you can see, it's very faint. And press OK. Can you see that? Now, if I make that a bit bigger, make the sheet a bit bigger. If you look at, can you see? I have the black lines there. But notice I have the lines, but they're very faint. They're lighter. Let me make it a bit slightly darker so you can see it better. Format cells again. And it's the middle one, so this one we're selecting. click on this, but I want the cells to be a bit darker. Maybe this color. Okay. Okay, so there you go. Yeah, so you can see it gives you the different formats in there with the different colors. Now, so you can do something as interesting as well, like this, where you can make, if I right click on this, and I can pour in there, but it's all the same thing. In fact, let me do it from the actual formatting blade as well. Okay. If you notice, I've got the top one with the line, the bottom one was the row, but I want it to be a line as well. So I just select this and click on the bottom one. And there you go. So it gives me, if you notice now, I have a border with all of it is going around is in black. Okay. And that's it really. So you can do things like you can modify the fill, so you can fill the contents of this. If it's a header, I can do right click here and you can see fill at the top there, make it all black. Yeah. And I can make my text white so it's more striking. You see that? Yeah. So you can now see all of a sudden my spreadsheet is no longer just numbers. It looks a bit more interesting to look at. I can actually even do things like maybe if you can see here, I can't really see the separation lines. I can just maybe change it to white, for instance, just highlight that, right click again, format cells, and you can now select color. Yeah, I want it to be white, and I can select the middle and press it again. It's done. You can't see because it's white. If I press OK, okay, they probably didn't select it. Try it again. Right click, format cells, make it white, and that's better. Then press on that. You can see it's highlighted. Yeah, how do it's highlighted is depressed. If I take that off, you notice it's highlighted. Okay, press OK. There we go. So notice, yeah. So I've got this here, and I've got separations by just a little thin white line. Just makes it look more prettier when you're presenting your data, and that's it. I mean, you can change colors. You can make this slightly gray. It doesn't have to be black. Whatever suits you, whatever you like. You can make that maybe. Yeah. See. So yeah. So that's it. There's all sorts you can do. You can even make it. I think you can put gradients in these things. Do you have? Don't think we have that here, where you can actually change the different. See that? So giving it a different look, little lines going across. So there's all sorts you can do. You can manipulate it, making your spreadsheet look all nice and pretty for presentation. So entirely up to you. Right. I think we have done quite a bit on this particular class. And as I said, Excel is so large and so vast. But I just wanted to give you guys a sneak preview of what we can do with Excel. And yeah, so I think we're coming to the end of our demo for now. And do we have any questions, Brad Godson? So I can't hear you. We can't hear you. Are you on mute? We can't hear. Okay, while Baruch is sorting out his microphone, is anybody with any questions at all? Anything we're not too sure about? Okay, let's have a quick look on the comments. Okay, right. Okay. Well, on that note, I would like to say thank you for participating. I'm sure you were mightily informed, and we'll see you again next time. God bless you. Have a wonderful day.